Hey guys, it's DT. Welcome back to the channel. As you can see, we have a little change of scenery today as we are inside my office. And the reason we are here is because I am going to give you guys a little tour. So one of the most requested things on this channel for years now has been a collection tour. So I thought I'd give you guys one. I was trying to figure out how I was gonna do it. I didn't want an extremely long video. So what I thought I would do is give you guys a detailed look at some of the more themed sections of my collection. I have maybe 3 or 4 designated areas of my collection. And that way, when I make the complete walkthrough video, people can click and watch the more detailed version if they want to have more insight on that particular section. So today we're going to be talking about this right here. This is my Transformers section. We got more stuff down there and more stuff over there and up there and through those doors as well. I'll save some of those sections for the next video. We've got the sections like the X-Men section, Wolverine section, Batman section, Samurai Batman, and then I have just random stuff up there that I'll go through as well. But I don't know, we got over 100 statues. I want to be able to talk about some of these, especially my favorite ones, and I don't want that full walkthrough video to be, hours long. So today we're talking about these guys right here. These are some of my favorite statues in my collection. So this guy right here, Optimus Prime, is responsible for my love of XM Studios. This is the first XM Studios piece that I ever unboxed. So this thing got me addicted not only to XM, but the entire XM Transformers line. I think it is amazing, some of the best Transformers statues that I've ever seen. I have Transformers from other companies in my collection as well, but this was a line that once I got the first couple pieces, this guy and the Starscream over there, I knew I had to go all in on this line. It's an expensive line. These are larger statues, very heavy, which means shipping is pretty crazy for these guys. I grew up in the 80s playing with Transformers, watching Transformers on TV. So this was a big part of my childhood, and when I got to see these statues in all their glory, it kind of just brought me back to those good times and kind of reinvigorated my interest just because these things look so cool. All these XM Transformers also come with a lot of different switch out options. So we get a few different sets of arms, some different heads, accessories. To tell you the truth, it's kind of hard to store all that stuff because you got big old sets of arms, especially for larger ones like that Grimlock over there. This is the pose I thought looked the best on Optimus with his ion cannon raised up in the air. Makes it a very tall statue. Love the bases on these. A lot of them are Cybertronian themed. They also have some that are Unicron themed, and I think they're coming out with some more that have different themes as well, but super detailed. I love the paint application on these guys. If I had to get rid of all my statues, these XM Transformers would definitely be the last thing to go. All of them also have some cool light up functions. I don't really use them. I take the batteries out, but you can light up the eyes on these guys. You can open up his chest and light up the Matrix of Leadership, but I think they look just as cool not lit up. Maybe on a special occasion, I'll go through the trouble of putting batteries in all these things and lighting it up, but it's a bit of a hassle to go in and try and find all those little compartments. And another cool thing is that all these guys come with their alt mode. Of course, they're statues, so they don't transform. Just because it doesn't transform doesn't mean it's not a Transformer. This is Transformers Art. Also, we got these cool little plaques that XM gives for early bird purchases. I think they stopped giving these out, unfortunately. I have a bunch of these plaques, but I only display the Transformers ones, but I thought they kind of look cool. So we're gonna move on, come back to this little section in a bit. Let's go over here. Check out this guy. Definitely one of my favorite Transformers of all time, Grimlock. As a kid, loved dinosaurs, loved robots, so this was kind of the ultimate toy, if you will. Transforming robot that turned into a T-Rex. I remember seeing this one being revealed over at Singapore Comic-Con several years back. Just being amazed by the pure size and scale of this thing. So this one was a day one PO for me, even though I knew the price tag and shipping was going to be crazy. A lot of these Transformers have a pretty low edition size. He also comes with several different arms and weapon options. He has a giant sword in his right arm that comes out, and he also has a big blaster in his left arm. But the blaster causes him to be a little bit too wide, and the sword causes him to be a little bit too deep. For this area that I have him in right now. So I have him in his most compact form. One day, maybe I will adjust this and be able to display those other options. Since we're on the subject, I'll talk about what I'm displaying them on. Right here we have kind of a custom shelving that I built on either side, both here and over there. I needed something really big for that Devastator over there, because that thing is like 40 inches deep or something. So I needed to build something that would fit in this area. When I first designed this office, I had no idea I was gonna put statues here. This was supposed to be like a little sit-down area where people could chill out, but I needed space, so my statues took over. In the middle here, we have an IKEA Besta unit. Actually, we have two of their TV stands. One's there, and then you can see the seam right there where the second one is. These are all IKEA doors, and underneath the doors is where I store a lot of my switch outs. So I have them in little like baskets, so I can easily pull them in and out. I was thinking about doing drawers, but then that option got really expensive and unnecessary, because you could just get something like this and you can just slide it in and out on this shelf here. This one I just have on like a McDonald's serving tray, and I just put the pieces here and you can slide them in and out. You don't have to install the rails or buy the drawer. This is a smaller Besta unit right here. Same thing, put all the switch outs in there like that. Here's a switch out for a statue I don't even have anymore. Space is always very valuable for a statue collector. Under all my displays, I will have space for another statue or storage space. Over here we have Megatron, leader of the Decepticons. This one I think was the third one I got. Initially he came with a different head that people didn't think represented that G1 Megatron look. So XM created this one, which in my opinion is spot on. It's a little bit big. That's one thing you kind of have to ignore. These guys have appeared in many different sizes when it comes to the animation, the toys, drawings, comic books, whatever. Scale has always been a little bit inconsistent. And the same kind of goes for these statues as well. I mean, for the most part, they're 1/10 scale, but you know, they can vary a little bit. Like Megatron's hands are a lot bigger than Optimus's. But this guy comes with this cool flaming sword, and he also comes with kind of his mace that lights up. Here's Megatron's alt mode, the pistol. I know nowadays, I think he turns into a tank or something. Over here is the second piece I got. This one is Starscream. This thing is pretty incredible as well. He's got this awesome pose, and he's actually very tall because this base has him elevated quite a bit. Again, great detail on the base. He too came with a lot of different options. Right now I have him with his coronation portrait. This is when he was king for a day. It doesn't really make sense because Megatron's standing right there alive, and when he became king, Megatron technically had died. So having him with the crown doesn't really make sense, but this one came with his awesome cape. That was too good not to display, so I had to stick it on. He comes with two different arms that are purple that match the cape. However, I just like the sculpt, the shape, and the flow of these white arms. Because Starscream turns into a big jet, I didn't have any room to display that here, so I have that jet over on this side. We'll take a look at that when we get over there. And then we have Soundwave. So Soundwave, another fan favorite Transformer. This guy was a highly anticipated piece. I think Soundwave's probably on the top 5 list when it comes to most people's favorite Transformers. The idea of having a robot that transforms into a cassette player that has cassettes that also transform into different animals is just so cool. I remember getting this toy as a kid and just playing with it nonstop until either the tapes broke or got really loose and floppy. We got Rumble down here, or Frenzy. Rumble and Frenzy, they've both been blue, they've both been red, so you can take your pick who you want this guy to be. Rumble, I think, makes more sense since he's got the pile drivers there, even though they are kind of like identical twins. Got Ravage jumping over his leg, Laserbeak, or Buzzsaw. He also has a variety of arm switch outs. We've got this one, he's pushing the eject button. He also comes with a gun. And then the other option with the chest is to have it in its open position with Rat Bat coming out. I kind of like the cleaner look of it closed where we can see the Decepticon emblem there. So I have it displayed like that. A little bit of controversy when this guy first came out because people thought he was a little bit on the smaller side, which I probably agree with to a certain extent. But again, when it comes to scale of these things, it's a little bit difficult. I think in the cartoon, in the comic books, he was shorter than a lot of these other guys, but the toy was pretty big from what I remember. If you played with the toy, you might have this idea that this guy was larger than a lot of the other ones. He transformed into a life-size micro cassette player, whereas other things transformed into, you know, T-Rexes and cars that people could drive. It would have been cool if he was a little bigger, but there you go. Still glad I have him in the collection. This is the XM Studios Nemesis Prime. I already had a Nemesis Prime from Prime 1 Studio, so I thought I was gonna pass on this guy, but then I was afraid I was gonna want it later on and not be able to get it or pay an arm and a leg to get it. So I was like, all right, I bit the bullet and decided to pick it up. This one was a little bit more expensive than all the others because it was an XM Studios exclusive piece, meaning that they didn't give any kind of discounts to resellers. So resellers had to sell it for even more than they normally do. It's still very cool. They used most of the designs from the Optimus Prime and recolored it. However, they did change the positioning of the arms. The legs to Optimus are very similar. They did change up the base a bit. This one is the one with a Unicron base with this gold with all the little spikes and horns. I thought that was very cool. I love the color scheme of Nemesis Prime. Just that black and red. Did a little touch of purple. Cool. They also modified his blaster. Back here, I've got a little poster of all the G1 Transformers. So hopefully XM Studios continues to make these and eventually we'll get all these guys. Right now, down on the bottom here, I will eventually rearrange this stuff and put either statues or some kind of other Transformers display. Right now, I have some of these giant Funko Pops. We got Unicron, Optimus, Soundwave with tapes. I also have some Voltron, another Optimus that makes sounds, some He-Man. Here's the alt mode for Nemesis Prime. And then we got some classic Dinobots back there. Right now, I'm using this lower level for storage. A lot of it is Transformers themed, but when I run out of space, I will utilize that for statues. Swinging around, let's go back over here to this middle section. So here we have Bumblebee. This guy was also one of the earlier ones that was released. This guy is tiny compared to the other ones, but he does come with this guy right here, Spike, in his little mech suit. That's kind of cool. You get two characters, even though they are both pretty small. He comes with a classic head and also, I think, like the toy head. So this one is more like the animated series. That's the one I chose. Here's his plaque, and then here is his alt mode down here. Classic VW bug. All right, then next to him, we have Windblade, and Windblade isn't an XM Studios piece. This one is by Azure Sea. I have two of their pieces. I think only two have come out so far. This is the first female Transformer in my collection. I don't know too much about this character, but I thought it was cool. A buddy of mine, Dan, was selling her, so I thought I'd pick it up. Comes with these nice blades in both hands, and then we've got this like phoenix down here. Pretty cool dynamic pose. The Azure Sea robots are based on the IDW comic books. They have a more modern feel to them, even though the XM kind of takes the old and makes it modern. I did see them tease a Shockwave. That one I might be interested in getting if XM Studios doesn't hurry up and make one. And then here is the alt mode for Starscream. This thing is huge, very detailed in that classic Starscream color scheme. Well, I'd say that's probably the coolest alt mode that they've come out with so far. Grimlock over there is pretty cool, but I really love this Starscream alt mode. Then over here, claiming this corner spot, is not really a transformer, but he does kind of transform, I guess. This is Voltron, another robot from my childhood. This guy was equally as cool. We got 5 lions go together to form this giant robot. Each one has its own pilot. Got the yellow lion, blue lion, the green lion, red lion, and then the black lion as the body. Some of you guys might have heard the story. I think I told it when I was building the Lego set that's way up there, is that I was able to buy the black lion and my cousin purchased all the other ones. I'd go over his house once a week, I'd bring my black lion and we'd be able to put this guy together. Well, after one Christmas, his other grandma bought him the black lion and he didn't need me anymore. So that was kind of the end of my Voltron days. I played with my black lion, wasn't really able to make the full robot, so I need to dust some of this stuff off. If you guys do see some dust and spider webs, it's because I haven't really dusted these guys in a while. You know, people ask me that all the time, like, how often do you dust? How do you dust? The answer is I probably should dust more than I do, but when I do, I just get the makeup brush and kind of do a quick dusting. Sometimes I'll use a vacuum. Yeah, I mean, you know, I got a lot of statues, so it's hard to get to all of them. If money wasn't an issue, I would get all these things behind glass, but you know, it's a little impractical with space and money. And plus, you know, sometimes it's nice to just have them out, nothing obscuring their view, and you can just walk around and see everything. But this one is from Sideshow Collectibles. He's got this cool moon base, a little unique take on Voltron. The original was a little bit more blocky. This guy's got kind of more rounded humanoid features. And then over here we have a PCS Grimlock in Dino mode. I thought this was very cool. The PCS line has these cell shaded statues that really look like drawings. If you weren't able to walk around and see that these things were three-dimensional, you'd think it was a 2D cardboard cutout. I held off on buying these for the longest time until Sideshow started offering sales, and then I decided to pick them up because I had some points I had to use, and the price wasn't too bad once they started discounting them. Then over here, we have the first Bayformer in my collection. This is Sentinel Prime. You know, I'm not a huge Bayformer fan. I do love that Transformers are still getting attention these days and they're being brought to a whole new generation of fans. The movies themselves weren't the greatest. The designs, being a G1 fan, didn't really knock me over. But the fact that this guy was voiced by Leonard Nimoy, who also voiced Galvatron in the Transformers animated movie, and the fact that this guy turns into a fire truck, is this bright red color, got me interested in this piece. And there is no doubt that these Prime 1 Studios Bayformers are just as cool and detailed as the XM Studios ones. I mean, these are true to the film and they are big. Now, this guy comes with a base. It was too big to put here, so luckily he can stand up on his own and he's pretty sturdy. Like, this thing I don't think is going anywhere. His feet are huge, so that provides a base of its own. So I just have this guy standing up here. He comes with this big old double-bladed sword, giant shield. some other pieces that he comes with as well. I packed up his base and stuck it in storage because it's massive. It's actually the same base as this guy right here, Jet Power, but a slightly different color, and it actually has both Decepticon and Autobot insignias. Very cool. That was Sentinel Prime. I believe they still have those for sale. If anyone's interested, they should check it out on the Prime One Studios website. Then over here, we have the XM Studios Rodimus Prime. This guy is awesome as well. He transforms into kind of like a camper, but instead they gave us the hot rod version, this futuristic looking car, which I think is cool. Obviously a big old camper is probably too big. I wouldn't have minded if this whole guy was hot rod, but he's a little bigger than hot rod would be, making him Rodimus. He's got a gun. This one only comes with one head. I think he has another hand option as well. And he can also hold the Matrix of Leadership, but since Optimus Prime's still around, it doesn't really make sense that he's here. The only reason he's Rodimus Prime is because Optimus Prime was killed. But still, had to get him. He also comes with this Unicron themed base, floating mines, and the Unicron horns and spikes. Here we have a couple X-Men. I just threw these guys in because these are the only other 1/10 scale statues in my collection, and they're kind of there just to give you scale. So this is what a human would look like next to these big Transformers. I picked these up when I was thinking about getting the Iron Studios Sentinels, but I kind of opted not to get those. I still have these. I know that the Professor X is kind of sought after now because a lot of people didn't pick him up when he came out. If you're one of those people that really wants a Professor X, hit me up. I might sell you mine. I don't really need these two guys. So that's the center section here. And now we're moving on to the big boy. This is the Imaginarium Art Devastator. This thing is crazy. If you guys saw me try to put this thing together by myself, this was a chore. This thing is big, it's heavy. It came in like 2 coffin-sized boxes. Each of these Constructicons that go together to form Devastator is like one piece. So these pieces were massive. They didn't all fit together perfectly, but good enough. If you like Devastator and you want to be entertained, go watch that assembly video. It was quite an adventure. I was able to put it together. I was able to get him onto this platform that I created. This is probably the biggest Devastator that is ever going to be made. I don't really see another company putting out a Devastator of this size. It would be great if XM Studios did, but I just don't see it happening. This guy is, I think, supposed to be smaller than 1/10 scale, and if XM Studios put out a 1/10 scale Devastator, it would probably be over 60 inches tall, but who knows? They've made life-size Hulkbusters, so we may see another Devastator. But until that happens, this is the Devastator to get. Flaws and all, this guy is awesome. Definitely the biggest single character statue in my collection. I had to custom build this little platform that goes back past this wall here in order to accommodate him. And then I also picked up some of the other Imaginarium Art statues to give this guy some scale. So here's Jazz. Imaginarium Art actually did a really nice job at creating G1 Transformer statues. Unfortunately, I think they lost their license and stopped making these. That's too bad. I also have Skywarp over here. The one thing that I didn't like about the Imaginarium Art Transformers was some of their color choices. I think Skywarp's hand right here is a little bit on the pink side. Then down here, I have some Transformers toys. Right here, we have the toy version of Skywarp and Thundercracker. These were my very first Transformers that I ever got. I remember going to Toys R Us and seeing these things in the box on the shelf, being like, ooh, that looks like a very cool plane. Then you find out you can actually transform it into a robot. I had bought another Skywarp on eBay because I had lost the little hands and some of the other accessories, so I bought one for parts. Here is the swap out hand for Devastator. I'll probably never sell this one just because I don't want to dig out the box. Then we're back here at the Jet Power Optimus Prime. Another Bayformer. This one was from, I think, Revenge of the Fallen. I forget the names of these movies. When I saw this one, I thought it was awesome. Bayformer Optimus Prime combined with the Bayformer Jetfire. Nothing like the cartoon. Still pretty awesome. Did a whole review on this guy on the channel if you guys want to check it out. But this thing is pretty insane. Look at these big old turbine engines. Guns. We got all the jet wings. This thing is so heavy they had to later ship this little rod, support rod, to support the weight of all these engines on the back of him. And then about a year ago, I went to Washington, D.C., went on a tour that took us to the National Space Museum, and that was where they filmed Revenge of the Fallen. I actually took a picture with, I think it's the Blackbird, and picked up this little replica in the gift shop there. Now I display it with this guy. Prime 1's coming out with the Power Master Optimus Prime, which is even bigger than this guy. It was very tempting, but I think that thing is like 40 inches deep. Just too big. Oh, before we move on to the next one, here I am with Peter Cullen and Frank Welker, the voice of Optimus and Megatron. Met them at a convention. Here we have some original art. This is a cover by Freddie E. Williams II, Transformers #1. And then here we have the Azure Sea Optimus Prime. So again, this is based on the IDW comic book art. Very exaggerated proportions, but still very cool. Did a whole review on this guy as well if you want to check it out. Comes with a lot of different options. I already have the other Optimus holding the ion cannon, so had this guy hold the axe. In his other hand, he's got Galvatron's head. I have some of the other smaller scale PCS pieces here. Here's Shockwave. I'm still waiting for somebody to make a 1/10 scale version of him. Prime 1 Studios has a movie version Shockwave that is just massive. I don't have space for that, nor is that my Shockwave. Here's the animated version of Soundwave. And we got a Frenzy or Rumble. Here we have another Optimus. He's kind of got this cool running pose. Here's an optional head for this guy. Then over here, this is the Age of Extinction Optimus Prime, I think. He's got the sword. He's kind of got the knight armor. Picked this one up when Prime 1 was having one of their sales, and I was collecting different Optimus Primes at the time. Thought this one was pretty cool. Here's a little exclusive piece that comes with Sentinel Prime. And then we have an alternate portrait here for this guy. Here's a little poster back here of Optimus Prime arm wrestling Optimus Prime. It's also signed by Peter Cullen. Found this poster in like a $1 giveaway bin. Opened it up and had Peter Cullen's signature on it. So I thought that was pretty cool. That's before I met him. All right, and then down here, let's see if we can turn the lights on. So on all these cabinets I built, I also put lights underneath. They're all connected via this Wemo app. There you go. All right, so down here we have another PCS Optimus Prime. This one is the bigger version. Comes with the Energon axe, this cool orange base. Nothing reminds me more of that animated series than these statues right here. We have this battle with Megatron. He's kind of got this purple base. I was able to pick both of these up on Sideshow Seconds, so I didn't have to pay retail price. I also got the Lego Optimus Prime. It's a fun build. You can actually transform as well. That's what I have displayed underneath this one. Over here we have the Prime 1 Studios Nemesis Prime. Kind of pales in comparison to the XM Studios one, but still very G1 accurate. This guy needs to move. Batman Who Laughs. I just needed a place to put him. And then over here, we have the Megatron from Revenge of the Fallen. And he too also, this is a custom, came with a giant base that I have in storage. But this guy is pretty big. I really didn't know what to do with him, so I put him in here. Got this little Devastator toy as well. This guy is pretty cool and detailed. And I got some other toys back there, some figures. That was the Transformers section of my collection. Stay tuned, there's a lot more to show you guys. I think I will be bringing you guys either the X-Men or the Samurai Batman section next. There's the Spider-Man section as well. And then once I go through all those sections in detail, I will do the complete walkthrough of everything. So you'll be seeing a lot of pieces that you've never seen before, just because I never got around to finishing videos. Stay tuned for that. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think of these Transformers. If I inspired you to maybe start your own Transformers collection. Or maybe I scared you away because of the price of these things and the fact that they take up a ton of space. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Roll out.